My name is Justin. I am a husband. I am a father. I'm also a peer recovery coach. I'm a program manager at a sober living home. I'm a diehard Bears fan, and I'm also a recovering alcoholic.
Okay, so tell me about life before substance use.
Life before substance abuse, I was born and raised here in Fort Wayne. I had both of my parents in my life, which in my neighborhood, that was a rarity. So I felt really blessed to have that. My father, though, he worked a lot, so he wasn't really around. We went to church. I went to parochial school. I went to St. Paul's Lutheran and Emmanuel Lutheran School. I was a happy kid, you know. I was a very happy kid and enjoyed life and enjoyed my family. I was just one of those people who always wanted to be around people. I just enjoyed everything about the way my family brought me up, which was, you know, morals and things of that nature. And I just was big into sports. I loved to play football. I was short, it's like 5 foot, so I wasn't that good at it, but I did enjoy playing sports. Back in those days, we loved to ride bikes around the neighborhood. It was a very tight-knit community at that time. What led me to substance abuse? Even though it was a tight-knit neighborhood, it still was gang infested back in those days. And like I said, I grew up believing in God, believing in right and wrong, and those gangs approached me quite a few times in that neighborhood, and they wanted me to join, and I just knew that wasn't what I wanted, and it's not what my life was supposed to be. And so they would continue to bully me, and they would beat me up and jump me, and eventually this took place for a good 6-7 months of just getting bullied and beat up. And we were at a function for the neighborhood, and I was there, and I seen these guys, and I'm like, oh, here we go again. And it happened, and they started beating me up. Well, a different group of guys came and started beating them up. And they picked me up and brushed me off and asked me if I was okay. And come to find out, it was the rival gang of this gang. And my cousin was actually the leader of this gang. And I didn't know at the time. I was about 12 or 13. And so then I wanted to hang out with my cousin more. And I started hanging out with him. And I asked him eventually, can I join? Because I noticed these guys were no longer messing with me once I started hanging with him. And he was like, no, bro. He was like, you're a goody two shoes. This is not for you. I kept begging and begging and begging, and finally he said yes. And I started to live the gang lifestyle, and I started to become a character. And throughout the years, that character started to present itself more. Well, I found out when I drank alcohol that character really shined, and I could really be that person then, and I could really push my morals, really what it was, away deep down inside of myself. So I started drinking more, and I started drinking more, and I just became this character. And throughout life, a few years fast forward, it wasn't even just to become that character. I now depended on alcohol to get through my day. It wasn't a question of, do I want to get up and drink today? It was I had to now get up and drink. Otherwise, I would get the shakes. I would feel horrible. My mind was nothing but on the next drink. I would have a fifth of vodka in front of me, and I'm worrying about the next one, And so that's when it became, a problem. It became my life. It became my obsession. I stopped hanging around the gang members. I stopped hanging around family members, and just drank. I woke up, drank, went to sleep, drank a bottle. So that's kind of what led me up to that, was just at first becoming a new person, a character, I like to call it, to try to hide the pain that I was going through, because I didn't want to be the prey anymore. I wanted to be the predator, and that was in my mind. I didn't want to be fearful. I didn't want to have that fear in me. And when I drank, it seemed like that fear was gone. So that's what all really started the drinking.
So how would you say you were judged or labeled by yourself or others during this time?
Myself, now going back, and even my sister that enabled me, and few of my other family members, you know, they thought I was lazy, which I felt I was lazy. I felt I wasn't good enough to work. I didn't feel that I was good enough to do anything. You know, I was depressed. Um, I felt that if somebody who drinks all the time, it's my fault. You know, I felt that, you know, and I was like, why am I doing this to myself? And coming to find out, it was, you know, is a disease in my brain that was taking that. Um, and then walking down the street, you know, drunk, you know, people looking at you like you're the lowest of the low, not knowing that this is not the path that I wanted to take for myself, not knowing that, you know, I struggled with fear and anxiety and basically now today PTSD, you know, and I was shell shocked from getting beat up all the time, and the alcohol helped me with that at the time, and so people don't really know where you come from, and that's myself too. You know, I used to judge addicts. You know, I'm a drinker, but drinking's legal. You know, and people out there doing cocaine and crack back then. I'm like, why would they do that? You know what I mean? And I'm not knowing their story, or what they went through. So I felt that I always was looked at as the lowest of the low. I went to a prominent, high school. Was supposed to be have the best education. All my friends that I went to school with are, getting good jobs or starting families. They have these wonderful, beautiful homes, and I'm on my sister's couch. So I felt myself too that I was in the lowest of the low. And I could tell people looked at me like that. And I had no intentions of quitting drinking whatsoever. But it was May 9th, 2010. I was at my sister's house. It was 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was drinking. And a voice said to me, which I believe is my higher power, who I choose to call God, said, "If you do not stop, you will die." And I sobered up, which is crazy. Like, I was drunk, and I sobered up. I called my mom. I said, "I need help." I said something needs to change. And it was so funny because that year was on Mother's Day, so I actually got sober on Mother's Day. And I checked myself into rehab, and then went into a sober living home right after that. And I haven't looked back since. So that was the key moment. I had a spiritual awakening. I know a lot of people have different paths, but mine was, God said, "If you do not stop, you will die." And I believed him. and so that was my beginning path. My recovery journey was, like I said, I checked myself into rehab, which was, I was there for 3 days. And then they're kind of like, "Well, now you have to leave." And I'm kind of like, "I don't think I'm cured." And so my mom looked around, and she found a sober living home here. And I checked in there. And I lived in a sober living home for a year and a half. And then after that, they had apartments that you could rent from them. So I rented an apartment so I could stay close to that type of community. I would help the guys out, especially the newcomers. I would talk with them. I would sponsor them. And so that path really wanted me, I really wanted to do this. Like, I wanted to make this a lifestyle. Eventually down the line, I was offered a position at that same halfway house as become a house manager. And so I did that, and it was mind baffling. Like, this is what God wants me to do. This is what it is. I felt blessed to be an alcoholic because the satisfaction of helping others every day, just, it was a high, or nothing to drink could even compare to, you know. And then eventually down the line, I was offered a position that I'm in now, as a program manager at a sober living home. And my journey is, different from a lot of people's. And that's one thing that people have to understand. Everybody's journey is different. Me, I don't go to a lot of like AA meetings and things like that. My journey is out in the streets, is helping those, that are first coming in and giving them the guidance that they need, to find that path of their own of recovery. And so it's not an easy one either. My first year of sobriety, my uncle passed away. My second year of sobriety, my best friend who came to visit me every day in the sober living house, he had passed away at the age of 37. And so I consumed myself around the recovery people to get past those type of situations. And so my path it's never been an easy one. No one's is. But it's mine, and I can choose to continue to reach out to those who need that help. Just like anybody else, I have bad days. Today was a rough one, but I have that background or that pause. I have that community surrounding me that helps me get through those. Today, I carry myself tall today because I've been shown a way of that. I've been shown a way to carry yourself as who you are, and I've God given me an opportunity to be a pillar in my community, and I'm so blessed for that. I've seen the bottom. I've been to the bottom, and even though we feel that that light will never come, it will. I've seen people that have been 50 years old and think that they will never get it, think that they will never ever become sober, and have 6, 7 years sober now. And it's just amazing to me. When you come into a program of recovery, whichever it is, and you start at the bottom and you start to stay a little while, you'll see all those people that were at the bottom start to rise with you. And you will start to see the lights come back into their eyes. And that brings light into you. And their color starts to come back and their smiles are starting to happen. And that just gives you strength and that gives you hope. You just need to be around it, and it will happen. I can promise you that.